shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real weapons being real with self. Like I haven't seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real weapons being real with self. Like I haven't seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. All you got is like wrong with being wealthy. Like Kanye West said, having money is not everything. Not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to pay wealth. No, it's the love of money that's too hard. You don't like money so much, why you get up and go to work? Yeah, I just think about all the things that we think about. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. That's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial mentor of the working class.
Good morning, and thanks for tuning in to Talking Money in the Morning live with your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my very best to bring practical yet proven wealth-building strategies to working class men and women all over this great nation of ours. I count it a blessing, and it is truly an honor to have you guys tuning in with me this morning. If you're checking us out on Facebook Live, then do me a favor, share this stream on your wall. Today's show, we're talking about the 7 laws of wealth as presented by Dr. Dennis Kimbro. If you guys don't know who he is the author of the book Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, where he scoured the country and interviewed dozens and I think over 150 black millionaires to get the DNA of a millionaire. And what he found out after writing an article in Success Magazine is that he wasn't the first person who had done that. Right? The great Napoleon Hill had actually begun doing that work before he passed. As a result, Dennis Kimbro was able to partner with W. Clement Stone. He was able to get the manuscripts from Stone and actually put together Think and Grow Rich, The Black Choice. That's why that book is in the Napoleon Hill library, because it was started by Napoleon Hill, and they allowed Dennis Kimbro to finish that thing up. Let me turn off these notifications. So he's got that book, and then he's just put out another book called The Wealth Choice. So we're going to talk about the 7 laws of wealth that he laid out. He's actually got a lecture out there on YouTube if you want to go check that out. I listened to it a couple years ago, and I really was intrigued, and I said, man, I got to bring this to my audience. I did a replay of it this morning, and it still blew me away just as much as it did 2 years ago when I listened to it. So I thought I would bring it on to you guys this morning. So, but before we get into that, let me tell you exactly who this show is for this morning. This show is for my risers and grinders. If you got up this morning and put your feet on the floor and you start racing towards building your legacy, this show is for you. If you went to bed last night thinking about your children's children, this show is for you. If you're the type of person that know that deep down inside you got the discipline to build wealth, you've got the desire to be wealthy, but you don't have a game plan, strategy, or a mentor, this show is for you. Now, just like we like to proclaim who the show is for, let me tell you who the show is not for. If you are one of those people who have that weird relationship with money, you think capitalism is a dirty word, you think money is evil, this show ain't for you, man. If you have a problem with me just saying the word money 10 times in the last 12 seconds, this show ain't for you, right? If you're sitting back waiting to see if Hillary wins or if Donald Trump wins so they can fix the economy instead of focusing on your economy, this show is not for you. Now, if let me be clear on this though. I do not have a problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. I only have a problem with you having a problem with me wanting to be wealthy, right? You don't want to be wealthy, that's your prerogative. Me wanting to be wealthy, that's my prerogative. I believe that my family deserves the best, and as my commission by God to be the provider and the protector, I'm going to go out and get it for them. So I don't know what you're going to do for yours, but like T.I. said, man, I'm going to die for mine. So that's what this show is all about, you getting up, going out and getting something, and maybe me being able to spark, motivate, provide some insights, some strategies, some tools that can help you get there along the way. So today's show is sponsored by Eagle Nest Financial and Covenant for Life Christian Center. I will be there tonight, 7:30 p.m. doing a live wealth building workshop. If you are in the St. Louis area, I want you to come on out and bring a few friends with you, because I guarantee you, if you listen intently to what I'm going to present tonight, I will teach you how to build a family empire from scratch. That's what it's going to take, guys. We can't wait on the government to do it. We can't wait on banks to do it. They're not lending us the money, but we do have income. We do have $1.2 trillion as a community. Let me show you how to manipulate that and build wealth for you and yours from scratch. So that's 7200 West Florissant Avenue, right there in Jennings, St. Louis, Missouri, 63136. Pastor over there is Pastor Anthony Trice. We've partnered up to bring wealth building and financial literacy to our community by way of the church. It is our opinion that since we are the King's kids, it is finally time for us to start acquiring wealth like the King's kids. So I will be there tonight, 7:30 p.m. Come, bring a couple friends, and let me show you how to build wealth from scratch, and share the stream so people know that that is going on tonight. Go to my page, Financial Health Mentor. I have an event there that you can RSVP to. So I want to pack the house tonight, because I believe if we understand how the money game is really played, we can start building wealth, putting the fire out in our own houses, and then we can put the fire out in the community at large. So today's show is the 7 Laws of Wealth per Dr. Dennis Kimbro. If you never checked out that lecture on YouTube, then just Google Dr. Dennis Kimbro. He's got tons of lectures, man. This guy will blow your mind with the level of his intellect and the research that he's done to map out the DNA of the wealthy Black people in this country. And I'm not talking about the wealthy ball players and entertainers, because that doesn't make up the majority of wealthy people in this country, especially not the wealthy Black people. Yes, they're paraded in front of our face, because that's part of the illusion, to believe that you have to go that route to build wealth. You do not. You can build wealth through business enterprise, through using your gifts and talents, just like any other culture does. But we've been bamboozled and hoodwinked, as the great Malcolm X said, to believe that the only way that you can get wealth is through some sort of putting a ball in your hand or putting a microphone in your face. But that's not true. So the number 1 law of wealth is knowledge. You have to understand that knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. If you think about everything that has been used to build wealth, it has all come from knowledge. It took knowledge to learn how to cut down a tree and convert that wood and that lumber into wood to build the framing for a house. That was knowledge that did that. Right? It took knowledge to figure out how to put electronic components together to make the computer. So you have to understand that knowledge is the number 1 form of wealth. That is the number 1 law of the wealthy. They just learn different ways to transfer that knowledge into wealth. And understand this, wealth isn't just money. There are multiple forms of wealth. I did a show last week on the 10 forms of wealth, and that was just the top 10 that came to mind. But there are many, many, many forms of wealth. It's not just money. When you get your eyes off money, you can truly start building wealth for yourself. So law number 1 is knowledge. Wealthy people watch less than 4 hours of TV a day. The average person watches 6 to 8 hours of TV a day, right? So, I mean, not a day, per week. The average person watches 28 hours of TV per week. So you have to think about that. And fellas, I got a live stream coming for you today, because I got a question for you. Can you really afford to watch football all day on Sunday? So that's a live stream coming later today, because we're gonna dive into that, man. But if you're watching 28 hours of TV, what are you not doing? You're not producing for your family, man. So I'm not saying don't enjoy a little TV, but man, we go overboard with that stuff sometimes. And wealthy people have a bigger library, and poor and working class people tend to have a bigger screen TV. So just think about that. Law of wealth number 2 is decision. The law of decision, guys. Man, this one gets me, because we have the average person gets at least 4 ideas per year that if they make a decision to act on them and take them and run with them, that will make them wealthy for generations to come. And I know some of you sitting back thinking right now, yep, I got this idea in my head right now. Well, make a decision, make a move, act on it. Get up, get out, and start making things happen. Start researching, start putting your deal together so you can make that happen for yourself. 4 per year. I'm 40 years old. So what is 4 times 40, right? 160 ideals per year that could have made me wealthy if I had made the decision to actually act on what it is that I should have been doing. And because guess where those decisions, those ideas are coming from? They're coming from the Creator. He's putting that into you, saying, hey, if you follow this lead, it's going to lead you to your passion. You follow your passion, it's going to lead you to your purpose. The reason this world is going to hell in a handbasket is because nobody's walking in their purpose. Got to use the law of decision. You get something in your mind, don't procrastinate and kick it around for 30 years, man. Make a decision, take a step, get out there on faith and make something happen. The law of decision is the second law of wealth. The third law of wealth is belief. Guys, this is a big one for me, man, because I have 5 sons. And I love mentoring children. I'm a youth basketball coach. I mentor the children at the church. Man, this is if you do not believe, man. You know, last week I did maybe it was Monday. I did a show on belief and the cycle of success, and I'll give that to you really quick. The book I read says all things are possible for him who believes, not for me who believes it for you, but all things are possible for that individual. That individual has to believe. But the cycle of success, really quickly, I'm not going to take too much time, but the cycle of success starts with belief. Because when you believe, you'll take action. Based on the action that you take, you're going to get some results. You learn how to analyze those results, and those results will build your belief. When that belief is built, you'll take greater action. The greater the action you take, the greater the results. You analyze those results and it will feed your belief. And that belief grows bigger yet again. That bigger belief will cause you to take bigger, more bolder actions. And those bolder actions will cause you to get greater results. You analyze those results and those results will build your belief. That's a cycle of success on autopilot, but it starts with you believing. You have to believe. Gotta believe. And if you don't, get around some people who believe in you and ask them why they believe in you. What do you see in me that causes you to believe, and allow them to feed your belief? And as that belief grows from infancy in you and you start believing in yourself, then you start taking action, you start getting results, you start analyzing those results, and that will feed your belief. Get around the right people. One of the reasons I have such tremendous belief, because I lay next to a woman every night and she tells me there is nothing you can't do. I have never seen you fail at anything you wanted to do. And that feeds my belief. But if you're around somebody who's telling you you ain't nothing, you ain't never gonna be nothing, you can't, you won't, you will never, then that crushes your belief. And that feeds the opposite, which we have the cycle of success. And let me tell you, the cycle of failure starts with disbelief, self-doubt. When you doubt yourself, you take no action. Take no action, you get no results. Because you got no results, that's going to feed the self-doubt that will keep you from taking any action going forward. And that cycle continues, and you're in a cycle of failure on autopilot. Gotta believe. That's the law number 3, is the law of belief. Law number 4 is to be true to yourself. What does that mean? Guys, we're finally in the age of technology, and being true to yourself is sticking to your passions. Each and every one of us have been given by God a set of passions. And I want you to think about this deeply. Why do you care so much about certain things? You don't know, right? Because that is something that was put in you. I don't know why I care about kids so much. I don't know why I want to see kids win, why I love mentoring kids and coaching kids and uplifting. I don't know why the gift of exaltation, why that's my gift. I don't know why, but it's in me. That's my passion. I'm going to give you a hint. Your passions lead to your purpose. And there's the two most important days of your life: the day you were born and the day you find out why. You will never find out why if you're not walking in your passion. Here's why we're not walking in our passion, because we're chasing a dollar. See, most of us had passions. We came up going through school with passions, and we wanted to pursue certain things. But what did the teachers in our lives say? What did the counselors in our lives say? You'll never make no money doing that. So you need to start studying math, reading, science, so you can become an engineer. They make lots of money. So you can become a doctor. They make lots of money. And then you follow that advice and you get into that thing. And yes, you're making lots of money, but you're dying inside because that's not where your passion is. So you have to understand, now that we're in the age of technology, I can teach anybody, I don't care what your passion is, how to build an income stream from that passion. Your passion could be underwater basket weaving. I don't care. I can teach you how to build an income stream from that. And why is that important? Is because when you stay down that road of that passion, it's going to ultimately lead you to your purpose. And when everybody starts walking in their purpose, man, this world is going to be transformed. Right now, we have to be the ones transformed by the renewing of our minds. But if everybody starts walking in their passion and their purpose, then this world becomes transformed, right? So we understand that you're in an economy that requires you to have an income. And notice my choice of words there. You're required, or you need an income. You don't need a job. You need an income. So sometimes you can figure out how to get an income in other places than a job, right? So you can learn how to derive an income from your passion. And when you're steady walking in your passion, you're going to meet other people who are passionate about that. And when 3 or 4 people who are passionate about the same thing come together, they create what's called a mastermind. And that mastermind might be what it takes for you to discover your purpose. And guess what? You walking in your passion might help somebody else discover their purpose. All right, so enough of that, guys. I didn't mean to digress. So be true to yourself. Start thinking about what it is that you're passionate. What is it that you love that you can't realize why you love it? Because that's a clue to what you should be doing as God is pulling, pushing, and prodding you towards your purpose. All right, so be true to yourself. The things that you love. Ask yourself what would you be doing if there was no pay involved. I would be coaching kids right now. I do it right now and I don't get paid. I just love it. 10, 12 hours a week. I'm just, I mean, I don't have to get paid to do that because I love to teach. I love to train. I love to educate. I love to uplift. I love to mentor. So that tells me that's something I should be doing more of, because the more I get involved in it, the more I'm going to get around other people who love that. And then I believe that at one point, well, for me, it's already happened. I know my purpose. But for you, if you haven't figured out your purpose, the more you're walking in your passion, that light bulb comes on. You say, you know what? This is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. This is why I was put on this place. This is why. So you'll understand that. Law number 5 is service, guys. Most people don't get that you have to serve your way to wealth. Think about it. Think about what entrepreneurship truly is. You find a need, you find a way to fill that need, and you serve the community with your product or service that fills that need. You have to serve your way to wealth. Most people have it twisted. They think that they want people to serve them. Well, when people are serving you, guess what? They're on their way to wealth, right? And you're not. So think about that. Service is one of the laws of wealth. Dr. Dennis Kimbro studied wealthy people, over 150 of them, and he realized that they all were heavily involved in service. Even though they were extremely busy people building their empires, part of the building of that empire meant they served. They worked for free. They worked for knowledge. They worked for the blessing to come in the future and not for dollars. They served. So you got to understand where service comes in when you're dealing with, or you're on your way to building wealth, building that empire. So you got to understand that service is a major part. All right. So number 5 is service, right? How do you serve? How do you add value to others? Number 6, y'all know I love number 6, is entrepreneurship. You got to have your own business. There's not a wealthy person in this country, in this world, that didn't get that wealth through some sort of business or enterprise. Even when you think about the people who receive some sort of inheritance, how did the original wealth come to be? Came through business enterprise, through their parents or grandparents or great-grandparents, and it was passed down, right? Even the entertainers that we look at and say, man, LeBron is worth 500 million. How is he worth 500 million? He used his gift, his passion, his talent, and he leveraged that to become into some sort of business enterprise, became a brand, and now that enterprise has grown to 500 million, on its way to a billion-dollar athlete, right? So you have to start business enterprise. 3 reasons that I want you to consider business. Number 1 is for your future. None of us know if or when the day will come when we will lose our job. But if you have a business on the side, then maybe that can keep or sustain you as you are in transition between jobs. If you never lose your job, that's even better, because now the extra income you bring in from your business, you can use that $500,000 a month to start investing, and it grows your investment portfolio faster. When the economy crashed in 2008, the study showed that if the average family had $200 to $500 a month coming in extra, 80% of them people would have been able to avoid foreclosure and bankruptcy with just an extra $300 to $500 per month. So we're not talking about you having the next Walmart. See, we kind of despise humble beginnings. We all want to come out the gate in this grandiose place, and now, no, man, humble beginnings. Make an extra $200 or $300 a month. I can show you what to do with $300 a month and how that can grow to $500,000 for you in the next 10 or 15 years. How would that set you up for retirement? $500,000, if it's growing at a 8 to 10% rate of return, that'll kick back to you about $35,000, $45,000 per year that you can live off on, and you never have to touch the principal. So it doesn't, you don't stop thinking grand scale right out of the gate. Think scale, think everything that you do in business enterprise, that ultimately you build your business at a small level in a way that you can scale it up. So yes, think scale, but stop thinking that you got to have this grand facade in front right out of the gate. No, start small. All right. 3 reasons I'm talking about you should have a business of your own. Number 1 is your future. Number 2 is the children, right? What are you showing your children today that will keep them from being exactly where you are in life when they get to your age? Even if you're sending them through college, you're telling them to get an education, but ultimately you're telling them to get an education so you can get a job, so you can get up, go to work, pay bills, and do it all over again for 40 years. If you do not want your children to be where you are, and when they get to your age, then you have to show them something different. So when you start building a business, you're showing them something different. Kids pick up more than they actually learn. And what that means is, when your child was born and they started talking, did you sit down and teach them every single word in the English language? No, you immersed them in the culture where English was the primary language, and they just picked it up because they constantly heard it. Now, do I sit my children down and teach them specific lessons about entrepreneurship, about our family business? Yes. But what I also do is, all of my friends are entrepreneurs. Everybody that they're around are always talking business. Everybody that they're around are talking about the books that they're reading. They see the books that I read, books that are laying around the house. So they're picking up the language of entrepreneurship without me having to sit down and teach them. You know, the funniest thing in the world, we were on a family business retreat a couple weeks ago, and I overheard my sons mocking me. Yeah, my dad be on the phone and he'd be saying, well, yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that. And here's how we can help you build. And I was blown away, because I had no idea that they were picking it up. Now that I do, I make sure that more and more people are around where they're picking up, not just what I do, they're picking up other entrepreneurial spirits from other people, because everybody I hang around is an entrepreneur. That's the only way to be. So entrepreneurship, or having your own business, is the 6th law of wealth. And then the 7th law of wealth is, you've got to know how to make your money grow. right? And that's through investments. So you can do all of these 6 laws because you understand that when it comes to money, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Right? So when it comes to money, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. So you can have the law of knowledge working for you. You can have the law of decision. You can have the law of belief. You can have, you can be true to yourself and find your passion. You can serve your way to wealth. You can own your own business. But if you don't ultimately understand how this money game is really played, how you make your money work for you, then it will be easy for people to siphon that money from you, or you will be basically owning a job. See, the name of the game is to get income from multiple places, take that income and start growing it through investment vehicles. So I like to say it like this. What's the first thing you do when you find yourself in the hole? First thing you do is you stop digging. That would be understanding these laws and start to take some action to clean up your money, to get your money in a position, get yourself, minimize your taxes, get yourself out of debt, minimize your expenses, start watching where every dollar goes, start giving every single dollar that leaves your hand a target destination, right? That's the stop digging, right? It's not going to happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight for you to get into the mess that you're in. Most of us started getting into this mess 20, 30 years ago. So it's not going to happen overnight for you to get out of this mess. But the first thing you do when you find yourself in a hole is you stop digging. All right, that would be the equivalent of you starting to really pay attention to your money and start managing it better. The second thing that you need to do once you find yourself in the hole and you stop digging, you have to start climbing. That's you developing another stream of income through some sort of business. That's you surrounding yourself with people who are going to either support you in your mission or help you in your mission. If people are not going to help or support you, get them people out of your life. Don't be afraid to redraw your circle of influence. If the people in your life aren't going to help you or support you in your dreams, goals, and aspirations, they don't need to be around you. Point blank, period. And guess what, guys? Sometimes that person is the person that you lay next to every night. Sometimes that person is the person that brought you into this world. And I know that's hard to hear, but you have to understand, you have to protect your eye gate, your ear gate, what comes in, who's around you, who's tainting your thoughts, who's feeding self-doubt versus feeding your belief. That is extremely critical, who you surround yourself with. But you can do all of those things right, and you can start getting this income from multiple places. But guess what? If you never learn how to make money with money, or in other words, make money while you're sleeping, you will literally work till you die, even if you're working in your own business. There comes a point in my life where I want to be able to sit back and really enjoy the fruits of my labor. I don't know if you ever tripped off nature and how God really designed this thing, but the way he designed this thing is that there are certain seeds that you plant that you have to plant every year. There are certain seeds that you plant once, and you just manage that. Those would be the trees and the annuals, right? So as you're planting things every year, that takes care of your day, your right now. So I'm planting something every day, so that's going to give me a harvest in a couple weeks that I'm going to be able to eat on every day. But at the same time, I've also planted several things that I only have to plant once. Now, because they're not bearing fruit right now, I have to continue to plant these things every day. That's the equivalent to you having to go to your job every day. You got to eat right now, so you got to go to your job every day. You're planting every day. But guess what? You're taking some of the seeds that you get from the harvest that you're harvesting every day, and you're continuing to plant. You're continuing to sow. But at the same time, you're sowing those trees. So in 10, 15 years, now you've got 40 trees that you've planted. You planted them one time, and all you did was take care of them. So now you don't have to plant every day because each one of those trees bears fruit in a different season. So now you've got food to eat every season from all of those trees. It just took those trees a while to mature. So now you don't have to plant so much every day. That's how this thing was designed. There's no such thing as scarcity, right? That's false. There's an abundance of everything on this planet. Only thing that's scarce is money because it's man-made. But when you understand that there's abundance of everything, trick question for you. When do you cut down an apple tree to make firewood? When do you cut down an apple tree to make firewood? Never. because you can always sell the apples and buy your firewood, and you have firewood forever. Well, guess what? When you understand there's an abundance of everything on this planet except for money, you can always take from the earth and sell that for money, and you will always be able to eat forever. And even in man-made money system, you have to start looking at money as a seed and not the harvest. And every time you get your hands on some cash, you use a part of it to buy, build, or invest in an asset that's going to bring you back more cash that you don't have to work for. It's called non-wage income. Wealthy people have multiple streams of income coming into their life. They have passive income coming into their life. They have residual income coming into their life, and they also own or manage business systems. That means they have systems working for them that, yes, they may have to touch and tweak every now and then, but they don't have to spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day on those systems, and it brings them enough money to sustain themselves, right? So number 7 is you have to understand how to get your money working for you. Now, he gave us 7, and I realize we're at the bottom of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up. He gave us 7. Let me recap them real quick. Number 1 was knowledge, the law of knowledge. Number 2 is the law of the decision. Gotta be willing to pull the trigger, guys. Get out there, stumble, fall, pick yourself up, and do it over again. Number 3 is the law of belief. You have to believe in yourself when nobody else does. Number 4 is the law of being true to yourself. Identify your passions, those things that you are naturally good at, even though you don't understand why you're so good at it, because that's your passion. God put that in you so it can lead you to your purpose. Number 4 is the law of service. Wealthy people have served more people than you. That's why the economy has compensated them more than it has compensated you. When you serve the marketplace, you're compensated in direct proportion to how much you serve. All right. Number 6 is owning your own business, right? And then number 7 is learning how to grow your money, get your money to work for you. So I talked about when you are in the hole, you stop digging first, you start climbing second. That's bringing in multiple streams of income, but then you backfill that hole so you never fall in it again. That's the third thing you do. So your investments is like you backfilling the hole so that you never fall in it again. You get your money to grow, you protect it, and then you can ultimately pass it down to the next generation. But I want to give you guys one more law of wealth, because it takes this to pull any of that off. And law number 8 is courage. Guys, you have to have courage. You're not going to pull any of this off being scared and being unwilling to step out their own faith and trust that little voice inside of you that's telling you, you can do it. You can do it. It's not going to be easy, but you can do it. It's going to take courage, guys. Step out there, be brave. And what is the true definition of courage, right? Most people think that courage and being brave is all about not being afraid. That's not what courage is. That's not what being brave is. Having courage and being brave is taking action in spite of fear. Right? It's not that I don't feel fear when I'm making a decision to move forward in a business with an idea, with a plan. I feel the fear. I embrace the fear, because one of the reasons that fear comes into your life is not to stop you from doing something, but to encourage you to do that something with caution. But most people are paralyzed by the fear. So you will feel fear, but you have to have courage. A brave person moves in spite of the fear. I know we saw the men and women run into the towers of 9/11, and we thought that those men and women were not afraid. You said, man, they got so much courage. They got so much heart. They're so brave. But brave and courage is moving in spite of the fear. And that's what you guys have to do. You have to put these laws into your life, even though it's going to be fearful, even though people around you might mock you, might laugh at you. They might even disassociate themselves with you, but you cannot let that fear of that happening stop you. You've got to be courageous. You got to move in spite of that fear and go ahead and take your life to the next level. and you can invite them along the journey, or you can leave them behind. But ultimately, they have to use law number 2, the law of decision, and decide whether they're going to partner with you, link arms with you, and run with you, or whether they're going to let you run off and leave them. Guys, that is the time. I hate going over, but I had to give you that last point. So take these 8 laws of wealth. Be courageous. Step out there on faith, guys. If you fall flat on your face, one thing you have to understand about success is true people, true successful people, they either win, they learn, but they never lose. Why do they never lose? Because they never quit. The only way you lose in this life is if you quit. You're either going to win, you're going to learn, and you're going to start over. Right? So if you get out there on faith, you take the courage, you put these laws into effect, you fall flat on your face, you learn from it, you let it feed your belief, and then you go back to the drawing board and you start again. So guys, that's the time. Again, I want to mention my sponsors for tonight's this morning's show. It is Eagle Nest Financial and the Covenant for Life Christian Church. I will be there tonight live, 7:30 p.m. If you're in the St. Louis area, it's 7200 West Florissant Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63136. I'm doing a wealth building workshop where I'll be teaching you how to build wealth from scratch. So come on out, bring a friend or two, and we can show you how to start the process of building wealth for you and your family. This is going to be an ongoing thing. I'm super excited to partner with Pastor Trice over at Covenant for Life, because he believes, like I believe, that as King's kids, it's time for us to start walking in our royalty. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you believe something was wrong with that, go to yesterday's show where I had my sister Clarissa Pace on, and we talked about faith and finances and how they go together, and she laid out many biblical principles and scriptures to back up the fact that we can in this world acquire wealth without making wealth our God and still serve the Most High. So understand that. So we're bringing this on behalf of the church and through the congregation to bring wealth building truths and principles to our community and start really bringing economic empowerment so we can ultimately get to community development. So I'm your main man, Ace Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. Thank you for tuning in to Talking Money in the Morning live. I do this every morning, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. So tomorrow, I'm trying to line up another special guest. I haven't gotten confirmation, but if I do, you'll be blown away. But if he's not available, then I will bring to you another show of my own choosing, and we'll rock and roll this thing. So until I talk to you in the next video, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, everybody.